Hey guys, this is Lisa from NYC Gal Outs. Let's talk about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City because this season is bonkers. See, this is why I can't jive with Bronwyn. That blush is just blushing. Like, if I see nothing, I could see that blush from 100 yards away. And why I feel like she's very performative, put on for the cameras, but I also feel like this woman came onto this show for fame, yes, for fame, but also her actual intentions was to make enough money, have her own source of income, because this girl is planning an exit plan. This girl is executing a exit strategy. We have seen it many times, and being on Bravo and having a platform allows them to expedite a divorce. Now, I know in her first season, she said that she didn't have a prenup. That girl's been caught in so many lies that like isn't even necessary. So I do believe that Todd has a prenup, because there's no way that this man would be stepping out on her so much if he didn't have a prenup. They don't have any children together. I feel like, yeah, he definitely has a prenup. She might say, oh no, we don't have a prenup, but no, I don't believe it. Just because she said it doesn't make it true. So I said in my last recap that the ladies were all very shocked that Britani was offered a contract to come back. Now, I know that she has a friend of contract, but this girl is legit in all of the cast trips. She's in the reunion. She's in all the promos. She's basically a full-time cast member without being a full-time cast member. Britani, you need to get a better entertainment lawyer. They tossed the unicorn overboard. I don't know how Britani was able to recover that unicorn. I mean, that one of like the cast member go off the ship to like retrieve it, because the fact that this woman had her unicorn back, I was like, what? The Britani treatment, especially from Bronwyn. I know we're going to get to Meredith. Don't worry, we'll get to her. But especially from Bronwyn, because I think that it bothers Bronwyn that Britani came back. They both came on at the same time. And the fact that Britani was also invited back bothers her. Also, she's not an OG. She doesn't have a relationship with Andy Cohen and the Bravo network like some of the OG housewives has. Listen, the longer you've been with a company, the more they are familiar with you. It's like any corporate job, right? She acts that way to Britani because she is threatened that Britani was asked to return. I'm sure it probably would have made her feel good if she was the only newbie that was given a second contract. But the fact that the friend of was given a second contract to come back, I think that bothers her a lot. I enjoy Britani. I enjoy watching her on my television screen because legit, I don't know who the hell any of these people are. She's kooky and people find her annoying, but I will say that Mary Cosby, she had her problematic season, okay? She had her problematic season where people didn't necessarily enjoy her. But there's just so much to uncover in this episode. So Bronwyn and Meredith tossed Uni overboard, which was really shitty, because that is like disrespectful to somebody's property. I know it was a stuffed animal and that Jerry probably got it from Built-A-Bear. They would have no problem throwing over a pair of Jimmy Choo shoes. That's like a tongue twister. Anyway, and what that reminded me of was Jen Shah throwing Angie's shoe off the boat. You remember that? Do you guys remember that? I think it was on season 3. She legit took Angie's white shoe and just like threw one of it overboard. Well, that was shitty. But what I didn't like was the gaslighting that Bronwyn did. You kind of even understand it just from the way that her mother and Todd treats her. Let me tell you, becoming an adult doesn't remove the coping methods and strategies that you had as a child to cope. You just do the adult version of it. So what I saw from Bronwyn was the gaslighting when Britani shows up with her unicorn. She's like, who tossed Uni overboard? And Bronwyn is like, it was me, but it was done in good fun. That's gaslighting. That's gaslighting. You're trying to minimize it by saying it was done in good fun. That's gaslighting. You try to minimize your culpability by minimizing the actual actions. Well, shit, Britani, take one of her damn fucking shoes or handbag, toss it over and just say, it was done in good fun. It was done in good fun. Now, Bronwyn, she needs screen time, so she goes and she meets up with Whitney. They start talking about being swingers, basically. Whitney is forever throwing out rumors that she hears about John and Lisa Barlow. And I always said that, you know, the only one who was a confirmed cheater is Justin and Whitney. Those two got together while they were married to other people. And in season 1, episode 1, she even says straight to the camera, as she's looking at the camera, she says, we got married when I was 5 months pregnant. She was 5 months pregnant, and when they hooked up, when they had their office romance, they were both married to other people. So the only confirmed cheaters on that show is Whitney Rose and Justin Rose. So the fact that she goes so hard for Lisa and John is, I feel, is jealousy. I feel it's jealousy. And people are like, what do they have to be jealous of Lisa at? Look at her face. Lisa's face could look like the wind tunnel that Angie says. I don't care. When you have a man that loves you, he does not care what the hell you look like. That bothers Whitney. Because Whitney does not know that kind of love. I don't care. Fight me in the damn comments. I don't care if they have 2 kids together. You know what? Justin had kids with his first wife, and that didn't stop him from cheating. That didn't stop him from having an office romance. And girl, if you were 5 months pregnant at your wedding, that means that he married you because he felt obligated to marry you. I am of the very strong opinion that when you are a cheater in a marriage, especially in a marriage, but even in a relationship that isn't a marriage. But when you are a cheater in a marriage, you are by default a deceitful person, a conniving person, a person who is selfish. And I said the same thing about Jen over there in the OC. But this woman was caught in the parking lot doing the nasty with another man. And the fact that nobody has come after Whitney and Justin's relationship, that actually lets me to believe that Whitney is the one that's leaking to everyone. Let me tell you, Whitney, she's the one that says that she still talks to Monica. Her and Adam, they had a falling out. They legit was fighting on social media with each other. You call up this podcaster, Adam, from Up and Adam, to basically validate your story against Lisa. That fell flat. So who's the one that's been leaking stories? You, Whitney. You even brought that shit onto TV last season with Up and Adam. So Whitney and Monica at Lisa's event, they bring up to Angie about Sean being gay and whatever. Angie automatically thinks it's Meredith. Now, in this episode, though, she clocks it with Whitney, and she went from Mickey Mouse to Minnie Mouse. And she said, well, what I told her was that, you need to bring it up to Meredith, or I'm going to bring it up to Meredith. No, you wanted her to bring it up to Meredith. But the cast have seen it one too many times with her. So she's being a little bit more strategic, having Brittany doing the dirty work instead. And the fact that the other women don't go after her marriage, I feel like, no, Whitney, you're the leak. You're the one talking to everyone. But Lisa Barlow, Minnie Mouse, she's the one that's always coming up in your marriage. So you need to hit her back with the same accusations. You need to start accusing her and Justin of everything that she's accusing you. And listen, she mentions this shit on camera. Just be like, Whitney, I don't even know why you're so invested in me and John's marriage when you and Justin should fix your own marriages, especially with whatever agreement you have with each other. I mean, it's not my fault if your husband is okay with you laying down with another man, probably because you were already laying down with another man when you 2 got together. Gag her. The part that kind of makes me side-eye this whole entire thing is that, Bronwyn, you went from 100 when you were screaming at Lisa about Todd farting and kissing to all of a sudden being like, if he wants to see another woman, I'm fine with it. Make up your fucking mind. The only reason why she didn't blame it this time on Lisa was the fact that she couldn't. And if that tweet hadn't had that information to prove that, yeah, I was actually sitting next to this man or behind this man, so this info is legit, it's not just bullshit. She knew that she couldn't pin that on Lisa because Lisa would have been like, well, first of all, I'm on the trip with you guys. I'm on the fucking boat with you guys with Captain Jason. So how the fuck would I know what his flight number was? She cops to it, but now she minimized it. And she's like, well, if he steps out, I want it to be with a woman that I chooses for him. Girl, you went from your daughter Gwen finding out that he was cheating when she saw text messages to it was just emotional cheating, it wasn't physical cheating, to all of a sudden that never happened, that your husband was farting and kissing, to, oh, well, I'm considering my options. I want Todd to have a woman that I choose for him. We are going to get a Bronwyn Newport divorce season next season. That girl is going to be filing for divorce next season. And I don't care if she says she doesn't have a prenup. I think that girl is full of shit. There's no way she stayed for as long as she did without a prenup. He definitely has a prenup. She might say otherwise, but she talks a lot of shit anyway. You see it all in this episode. And you know what? Watching that scene, I believe it even more that he was kissing and farting. I believe it even more now. Okay, now what happened on that flight? I have no idea what the hell happened on that flight. They were on a commercial flight. They were in first class, and production was on that flight with them. Now, there's no camera footage though, and there's no camera footage because legit, a commercial airline is not going to allow the cameraman to upholster a camera and start recording everybody. That's just not happening. That's why with the airplane footages, you always see it on people's cell phone, on the cast member's cell phone. Bronwyn wasn't on that flight. She was on a separate flight. So Bronwyn in her confessional is like, I don't know what happened, but if it was as bad as they say, like the airline didn't do anything, like the flight attendant didn't do anything, production didn't do anything. And that was the thing. And I kind of feel like instead of asking all the ladies what happened, production was there. So that makes me believe that it wasn't as dramatic as the other ladies said it was, because HR would have gotten involved. And if HR gotten involved, they would have went and asked the production crew who was in first class with them what happened. Now, before you say, oh, well, you know, they get special treatment. First of all, they're not even celebrities. But if they are celebrities, because I know a lot of them in their own head, they think they're like A-list celebrities like freaking Taylor Swift. But let's say that even in their Delulu state of mind, they think that they are at that level. The freaking airline called the FBI while Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie was up in the air and they were in a private jet. If Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are getting the freaking air marshal called on them, the FBI called on them, child services called on them, whatever the hell happened up in the air 10 years ago with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, I do not believe for a minute that they were like, oh no, they're celebrities. They're celebrities. No, don't get involved. Are you kidding me? The only people who know who the hell these people are people who watch Bravo. Bravo is not even a network like that. Bravo is not a network in the same comparison to HBO. Bravo is a sub-network of NBC. And look, I don't know any of the people on Vanderpump Rules. Like, they could walk right past me and I wouldn't know who the hell they were. And not everybody watches all the franchise. Not everybody watches Bravo. But the Delulu in their heads. I saw Heather Gay on Watch What Happens Live and she called herself a celebrity. Like, girl, the delusion. The delusion! But anyway, maybe there are embellishments to make it worse than it seems. I don't know. But it doesn't matter, because if someone feels a certain way, you cannot take away from what that person feels. As far as her crying and being all devastated and everything, we've seen that. When she got caught recording in the Sprinter van, she legit started crying and she had to get out of the van because she had to get herself together. We have seen that reaction from her before. But what I will say is I absolutely do believe that Meredith was screaming at her, cursing at her, saying very insulting things to her. I do believe all of that because Mary sits down with Meredith and was like, is there anything you feel like you could apologize for? Or, you know, I'm concerned about you. Meredith tries to downplay it and it's like, well, okay, so it was 15 minutes of yelling. And Mary's like, well, it was a little bit more than 15 minutes. Listen, there was no way that somebody talks so slow like that. No way. She's got to be like on a Xanax or something. Maybe that's her addiction. Who the fuck knows? I'm just speculating. I have no proof. I don't know. I'm with Bronwyn on this. I do believe that she absolutely was unhinged. I do believe Meredith was probably screaming, acting unhinged, being like a sloppy mess. It was probably the equivalent of Whitney chasing her cousin around Bermuda, screaming, "You exploited my vagina!" It was probably equivalent to how Jen Shaw acted in season 1. I don't believe that it was assault like Brittany is trying to make it seem, because she's saying that her hair was pulled, her chair was being shaken. That legit is assault. Everybody is saying that Meredith was unhinged and she was screaming and she was being like really vicious to Brittany. But nobody is collaborating her hair getting pulled and her chair getting shook. Nobody's collaborating that part. So I feel like, Brittany, you are trying to milk the victim part. It's giving very much what happened with the other Brittany. It's giving what happened with Britt Eady. Now, Britt Eady, you know, she started feeling a little bit entitled because she was getting attention. Read the room, okay? And she's talking about her losing her license because of that. And Angela clocked it and was like, girl, why would you lose your license for something like that? Like, she clocked it. And this is kind of giving that. I definitely believe that Meredith was acting unhinged, but I don't believe the assault part of it. I said it. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got for you. BravoCon is this weekend. I think we're going to meet the cast of Rhode Island. We're going to get a Rhode Island trailer as well as a Roni trailer. All right, guys, don't forget to hit the like, follow, subscribe, leave me a comment and all that good jazz. I'll check you guys out later. Bye.